1st Brigade soldiers certified in combatives.
The ACS survey still needs to hear from you.
And 4th Brigade prepares for real-world scenarios during convoy training.
Welcome to this week's Marne Report. I'm Caitlin Kenny.
And I'm Master Sergeant Krishna Gamble with 3rd Infantry Division Public Affairs. Some say freedom is won from the barrel of a gun. Sergeant Dean Gannon shows Raider Brigade soldiers bringing different weapons to the fight.
Hand-to-hand combat allows a soldier to defend themselves in situations when military weaponry is unavailable. Alpha Company 369 Armor Team Leader, Army Sergeant Alexei Rodriguez, helps soldiers build confidence through combatives techniques.
For the first time doing a clinch drill, anybody's going to be nervous about getting hit in the face, get it in the body, anywhere. Keep your head up, keep your eyes on your target the whole time.
Change your grip, gable.
The moment you think you're not going to be able to make it, the moment you drop that chin, you drop your eyes, that's when everything goes wrong. We teach them to keep your head up, keep your chin up, I tell them to aim for the rank. Easiest way to go, don't keep your face to the outside.
1st Brigade Combatives NCO, Army Staff Sergeant Dustin Armstrong's philosophy tells us how combatives training helps win the fight on the battlefield, regardless of gender, soldier duties, or battlefield circumstances.
This isn't just combatives. Combatives just isn't the mat. It's not just grappling, doing your punch drill. There's things that you can incorporate going through shoot houses, doing detainee searches, TCPs, ECPs, any kind of, basically any training situation where your soldiers are going to be within an arm's reach of a foreign national. You don't know what the intent might be. There's other things that we can do. It's not just grappling. It's not just sterile ACUs in a circle in the field on Friday mornings or Thursday mornings. I mean, we can do stuff with houses, we still have vehicles. There's a lot you can really learn from this program and take away from it. I think a lot of people are very closed-minded to it. They think it's a big fight club. And it's basically this UFC wannabe type, and it's not what it's about. That was never the intent of it. I think over the years it's had a bad rap of people getting hurt. And the program has done a lot to still get the training done, but make it safer and make it more applicable to what units are doing real time across the world, regardless of where they're at.
Reporting for 1st Armor Brigade, I'm Army Sergeant Dean Gannon.
The ACS Needs Assessment Survey is conducted every 3 years on installations around the world. The survey helps the military know what services are being used and what the community needs. Here with us in the studio is Stacy Johnston with the Army Community Services to talk more about the importance of this survey. Welcome. Thank you. So really quickly, what is ACS and what services do you offer on Fort Stewart and Hunter for those who don't know?
Army Community Service is a social service organization that offers financial services, relocation services, employment services to retirees, active duty, and family members that are in both the Fort Stewart and Hunter Army Airfield communities.
What is the ACS Needs Survey?
The ACS Needs Survey is a standardized survey across all of MCOM that basically gives our communities an opportunity to let us know how we're doing, for one, and also what we aren't doing and what they need so that we can tailor those services to provide what they're looking for.
Why is it important that everyone, from soldiers to civilians, participate in this survey?
It's very important because without their feedback and without this valuable input, we honestly don't know what our community needs. And if we don't know that, we can't make those changes. Prior to this, the survey has been done in paper copies. Now it's completely digital and online. It takes less than 10 minutes to complete. It can be easily done on a smartphone while waiting in line at the commissary, at the supermarket, even at the pharmacy counter.
Awesome. And where can you find out more information about where to do the survey?
More information can be found by either calling the ACS at Fort Stewart or at Hunter. The number at ACS is 767-5058. The Army Community Service number at Hunter Army Airfield is 315-6816.
Well, thank you, Stacy, for coming by the studio.
Thank you.
Vanguard Focus 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team's brigade-level field training exercise is currently in the middle of a variety of training.
Distribution platoons with 703rd Brigade Support Battalion conducted convoy operations training as well as live fire training. Sergeant Bob Yarborough rides with them down the training lanes and sees what the exercise is all about.
Distribution platoons with 703rd Brigade Support Battalion, 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division started convoy security operations training during Vanguard Focus, 4th Brigade's field training exercise, which began January 21st, 2015 on Fort Stewart, Georgia.
A lot of them haven't had much time in the gunner hatch, actually using the crew serve weapons, working as a team, so it really takes their training to the next level.
The training was conducted on light-medium tactical vehicles, or LMTVs, and included blank round iterations and situational exercises, which integrated civilians on the battlefield, vehicle recovery operations, and engagements with opposing forces, followed by a live-fire iteration in which the convoy engaged targets while on the move.
And it's fun, like when you get to shoot the weapon, of course. Still at the same time, you gotta have the mindset to stay focused on the mission at hand.
It can be difficult to find time to train for specific scenarios, as the maintained battalion is responsible for the everyday logistical operations of the Vanguard Brigade.
They're engaged with supporting the maneuver units rather than honing in on the training aspect. Vanguard Focus has provided the allotted time to go through training scenarios that companies wouldn't otherwise participate in.
After each scenario, the convoy participants, the observer controllers, and the opposing forces would evaluate how the exercise played out in an after-action review, or AAR.
And the value of the AAR is to sit back and evaluate what we did well and what we need to improve on from start to finish. And you analyze every individual engagement and scenario to see what they did well and they did wrong. And so everyone in the entire formation gets the full picture of what happened and what they really want to go with and take away from it and how to move forward.
The distribution platoons are scheduled to continue convoy live-fire training through the end of Vanguard Focus, slated for the end of March. For 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division, Public Affairs, I'm Sergeant Bob Yarbrough.
This next story is a personal look at military service and family. A former dog-faced soldier, Greg Geiske, sat down with his grandfather, Don Calda, to talk about his military service during World War II. Calda served with the Army during the war in Europe and eventually was assigned to the 3rd Infantry Division at Fort Stewart.
Volunteered for Army, Navy, Air Corps, and I always failed the colorblind test. And so then I just waited until I got drafted, which was in 1945, and ended up in Camp Blanding, Florida, in the infantry training camp. And we finished there about Christmas time. We were promised a trip home before we went overseas. So some major politician saw to it that we got home that Christmas. And so they had some planes coming over from the China area where they were flying materials particularly. And so they had about, I think, 4 or 5 DC-3s, 2-engine, noisy plane. So they put us on the planes and brought us into Sioux Falls for about a 4 or 5 day furlough. It's interesting to note that one of the planes crashed on the way into Sioux Falls. And I can't remember for sure, but I don't think there were any survivors. And from a personal standpoint, I missed the plane by 2 men. We were in line to get on the planes. It's counted us off. If I'd have been two people, one way or the other, I would have probably not been here now. Well, we came back and we were sent overseas through New York City, and we saw Statue of Liberty, which we'd never seen before, of course. And shipped us out on the Queen Mary. There were about 24,000 or 25,000 men on that ship. Anyway, we crossed the Atlantic on our own in about 3.5 days, which is pretty fast in those days. And then they shipped us over on a smaller ship to Le Havre, France. And they were looking for people because the bulge was just finishing up then. Just remember the bulge in Belgium and Luxembourg and that area, where the Germans almost won the battle. Not quite though. So we stayed there a few days and send us up to the front lines. We were just green kids, 18 years old, and we got sent right up to the front, but it was still some mortar shells and things flying by. And I guess the thing I'll never forget is took us up to the front lines, and the 99th had suffered over 50% casualties. And so they sent me up to the kind of like a foxhole, except it's just a hole in the ground, and the roof was big trees, about 8-10 inches in diameter, and then dirt on top of that. These guys lived in there like rats, literally. And they were not happy people. They suffered so many losses and friends, and so they didn't give us much of a welcome. And the first day I was there, I was put on guard duty that night, all by myself. 18-year-old kid, here, if you watch out for, see if anybody comes, sound the alarm and we'll come out and help you. Well, nothing happened that night, so everything was fine. And that was kind of my first experience with war. And there were so many shells, and I'm not exaggerating, that hit the trees and literally wiped out all the leaves and everything. All they had was left was some trunks and sticking up in the air. That's how intense the battle was. That was before my time, however. So we just kept moving into Germany. And do you remember the term, the Ruhr pocket, R-U-H-R? This is an area that we had surrounded. And there were hundreds, probably over, they're talking about a couple 100,000 Germans surrendered. And we herded them around and got them moving, and then we continued on into Germany. So I was there, and we were just sitting there waiting to go across, and I came down with scarlet fever. And so they put me in a field hospital. I had to walk 2 miles to get to it with scarlet fever, but that's the only way you could get there. And I stayed there in the hospital, field hospital, for several days. And then, lucky me, I got to fly in an airplane to London and put it in a regular hospital in England, which was kind of nice because I got out of the hospital on VE Day, Victory in Europe Day. And so we went out and celebrated with the rest of the people. And it was an unbelievable celebration. Well, they finally shipped us out. I can't all the details, but we were sent into Germany, and then I was assigned to the 3rd Division there, combat engineering division.
That was so interesting. I always love to hear about individuals' life experiences.
Yes, it's really good to hear our veteran stories. They have a lot of them. It's real good.
All right, go ahead and take 2 steps forward.
I never thought this would happen to me. I made one dumb mistake. One night, I was out hanging out with friends, having a good time, drinking a couple beers. then I made a bad decision. A decision that would affect the rest of my career as a military officer and the rest of my life.
I'm cold. There's been an accident.
Or the life of somebody else.
I think it's 1:44. It's dark, and I'm cold.
Yes, like you, I took the Marne Pride pledge. I promised not to drink and drive, yet I did. That decision landed me behind bars and cost me nearly $6,000. Like you, I thought this would never happen to me, but it did, and it could happen to you too.
The safety of the community is important to Team Stewart. From January 26th to February 1st, there were 8 DUIs and third ID.
8 DUIs mean we're failing our fellow soldiers. Be a designated driver or take a taxi home. Have some Marne pride. Don't drink and drive.
Coming up on the Marne Report, find out which gate is temporarily closing due to construction.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed. When you get what you want, but not what you need. When you feel so tired, but you can't sleep. He's not one of us. Stuck in reverse. And tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace. Lights will guide you home, and I will try to fix you.
I was sure our marriage was over. It felt too broken to be fixed.
We lost each other, forgot why we fell in love.
Every battle I have fought downrange, I've always come out on top. But I always had a plan to execute, a mission to accomplish.
But fighting for my marriage, and I felt alone. I didn't even have a plan.
Then we heard about the Chaplain's Marriage Enrichment Program, a place where couples can go and get counseling, spend time together, and get support trying to figure it out.
I felt more anxious going to that couple's weekend than any mission downrange ever. But you know what? I was scared for nothing.
It's funny how when you face your fears, they go away.
Is our marriage perfect? No. But whose is?
Do we both have to learn to communicate better? Yes, but who doesn't? Now we're on the right track, thanks to the marriage weekend with the chaplains.
Fight as hard for your family as you have for your country. A message from your U.S. Army Chaplain Corps.
Welcome back to the Marne Report. Are you looking for some fun things to do with your family? Then let's check in with Martha Jackson, who is here to give us a look at an upcoming event.
Hi, I'm Martha Jackson, and this is your MWR Minute. Register by February 18th for Leisure Travel's upcoming Freedom Trail Tour in Savannah. See remnants of the Underground Railroad, where free persons of color lived during slavery times, Port of Entry, where slaves were bought and sold, and the Savannah African American Monument. The trip will take place on February 21st, and the cost is $25 for adults and $20 for youth ages 3 to 17. The cost includes transportation and the tour. For more information, give Leisure Travel a call at 912-767-2841 on Fort Stewart or 912-315-3674 on Hunter. To learn more about our upcoming MWR events, visit us online at www.stewartmwr.com or www.huntermwr.com. FMWR, we're your complete destination for family, fun, and fitness.
The 2015 Marne Spirit Award nominations are now open to volunteers across the 3rd Infantry Division, Fort Stewart, and Hunter Army Airfield. All 3rd ID units should submit signed nomination packets to Carol Stone, Division Family Readiness Program Coordinator, no later than February 15th.
And installation and tenant units can submit their signed nomination packets to Naomi Faison, ACS Army Volunteer Corps Coordinator, no later than February 20th.
The Fort Stewart Hunter Army Airfield Directorate of Public Works is working on the power lines from Italy Street to Gate 8 for the road widening of Veterans Parkway project. This section will be closed to traffic on February 16th. Gate 8 will reopen at the regularly scheduled time on February 17th. For more information, contact Jim Maddox at 912-767-5505. And did you know a budget review could be the key to your financial peace of mind?
Are you living from payday to payday, having trouble meeting monthly bills, being harassed by creditors, or hoping your paycheck reaches the bank before those checks you just wrote due?
The AER Form 57R is available at the AERHQ.org website under Financial Assistance, Blank Forms. It can help you track where your money is going and get your financial life back on the right path. If you do need help, visit the nearest Army Emergency Relief section, where caseworkers can review your financial situation and suggest corrective actions.
Last week, we told you about the Celebrating Youth Talent Show that will consist of 20 acts picked from hundreds of contestants. This week, photojournalist Zach Renstrom introduces us to 3 of the finalists who will perform in the talent show on February 21st.
Oh, why are we waiting so long? I'm suffocating. Oh, why are we waiting so long? I'm suffocating.
I act a lot. I do plays. I've been in musicals, and I'm always being other people. And today it was me, and I got to stand next to my best friends, and I got to just enjoy it and have fun.
Whatever the weather, we gon' be better together. So what's up, baby? What about us?
Because I have stage fright and I've never done anything like this before. I've backed out of so many talent shows for my school. It's ridiculous.
You told me on a Sunday that it wasn't gonna work.
I felt like I needed to grow up and get over it with it. I mean, with my future, I'm obviously going to be speaking in front of more people than ever. Everyone does. Everyone will eventually. And I felt like I needed to. Once I got on the stage, I relaxed and I calmed down, and I just did it.
But what about us?
I've always loved music. Music's been my life since before I could talk. So I've always wanted to put myself out there, and this was my chance.
What about us?
Just life in general inspires me, and I see the people that are famous and they're singing, and I know that they're doing so well for themselves, and most of them are doing it because they love it, not because they just wanted to be famous, and that's why I want to do it, because I love it, and I want to show people how much I love it.
And I'll take the lead. You're so far behind me, you know.
We're more than just military children. You know, we have all these different talents, and it's kind of cool because seeing people that you didn't know could do certain things, and it's really cool because it's embracing individuality and creativity.
To find out what's happening across Fort Stewart and Hunter Army Airfield, we turn to the Frontline newspaper.
Let's check in with Managing Editor Elvia Kelly for this week's news.
Hello, I'm Elvia Kelly, and I'll be giving you the latest details from the Frontline. Do you feel the love in the air? Yet? Maybe not yet? Well, pick up the February 5th edition for some upcoming Valentine's Day events. But first, check out the front page story where 5 soldiers achieved their dream of becoming a U.S. citizen while deployed to Afghanistan. Companies in the 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team get some live fire training during the brigade's field training exercise called Vanguard Focused. And last but not least, check out our community and leisure section where we have a couple of articles with some upcoming events for Valentine's Day. And if you're a food enthusiast, take a peek at the pancake and walnut recipe found under the Good Eats column. 5 U.S. Forces Afghanistan soldiers were sworn in as American citizens during a ceremony in Afghanistan. Our very own Command Sergeant Major Christopher Gilpin, U.S. Forces Afghanistan for Support Senior Enlisted Leader, shared his challenges of becoming a U.S. citizen when he took the oath in February 1992. As the ceremony came to an end, just like Gilpin has been sharing his knowledge to the younger generation, this group of American citizens are trying to pass on their experiences to the next generation as well. 3 light infantry companies of 3rd Battalion, 15th Infantry Regiment, 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division, were the first companies to conduct a combined arms live fire exercise during the brigade's field training event called Vanguard Focus. For the Day of Lovers, FMWR facilities offer specials for Valentine's Day celebrations, and the Fort Stewart's Exchange offers fresh flower bouquets. For the food enthusiast, the Good Eats recipe this week is all about pancakes. Check it out. Join us on the Marne Report to catch the most current news and events found in the Frontline across Fort Stewart, Hunter Army Airfield, and online at our Frontline website at stewartfrontline.com.
Coming up, 3rd Brigade soldiers empower girls through volunteering.
I can't do this anymore. I can't do us. What's wrong with you? I'm just not getting it.
You are dealing with pain, anger, a heaviness. It feels like there is no way out. It seems like you are in this by yourself, battling alone. But you are part of one Army family, shoulder to shoulder with a community there to get you through these hard times. There is no shame, no guilt in seeking out help. So if you are struggling, feeling depressed, or even having thoughts of suicide, it is time to talk to someone. Your Army family is committed to finding you the strength and hope you need to rebound from adversity. Because, above all else, our most essential resource is you.
Welcome back. In this week's Task Force Fitness, the term like a girl is always viewed as a negative, but this group of young ladies are eager to show everyone what being like a girl really means.
Specialist Jordan Matthews reports from Columbus, Georgia, where soldiers show a group of girls how to get physically fit.
As soon as the bell rings, many school-age girls board the bus to a place that teaches them that women are bold, smart, and strong. Soldiers from Headquarters and Headquarters Troop, 3rd Brigade Special Troops Battalion, 3rd Armored Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division, test out that strength at Girls Inc. in Columbus, Georgia. The Sledgehammer soldiers break the girls into 3 groups and conduct a fitness challenge similar to the Army's physical fitness test, with a few moderations.
I like exercising because exercising makes you get strong. I did the push-ups first, and then I went to sit-ups, and then I went to jump.
The 6-year-old wasn't the only one enjoying the activities.
I felt comfortable, I felt fun. I had pretty much fun.
Girls Inc. holds volunteers from all over the city, including Columbus State University students.
Well, I volunteer here to give back to the community and to be a role model for the younger children. And I think that's great because they see that, you know, it's not only people from college kids, but people from all over the community come back and help so that maybe one day they can come back and do the same thing.
Reed says seeing soldiers, especially female soldiers, shows the girls that you can do anything you put your mind to, and your gender shouldn't limit you to anything, including being physically fit.
Right now, since everybody's at their prime, they're young, have a lot of energy, so doing it now will help them continue to do it as they grow older when it becomes even more important to be physical and, you know, in shape.
Specialist Jordan Matthews, Columbus, Georgia.
This is Headquarters and Headquarters Company's second time volunteering at Girls Inc.
That's all for this week's Marne Report.
You can watch the Marne Report in the morning at 5, 5:30, and 8 and 8:30, noon and in the evening at 5 and 5:30, 9 and 11. Or as always, check us out on the web at stewart.army.mil, on Vimeo at vimeo.com/3rdID, and on the 3rd ID YouTube channel. Have a great week.
Rock of the Marne.